Matlock Season 1, Episode 4 included a significant revelation about Jacobson and Moore's involvement in the cover-up of documents related to the opioid crisis that might change Madeline's revenge plan. Madeline came out of retirement to work with the firm because she wants revenge for her daughter's death from opioid misuse. Matlock established that her 12-year-old grandson was the only one who could help her with her plan, and the two of them have steadily worked toward finding out who covered up the existence of documents that would have stopped the proliferation of opioids a decade earlier. During the 4th episode of Matlock's first season, Madeline encountered obstacles at home and work while trying to investigate, one of which was that Olympia wanted her help with a case involving a widowed senior citizen who was suing a building company that he alleged used materials that contributed to his wife's fatal illness. A series of the types of twists that have made Matlock so successful led Madeline to discover something about Senior that she could use against him, which might change the way she approaches her revenge plot. Madeline's Senior discovery in Matlock Episode 4 explained. She now has evidence that Senior signed out the missing documents. Madeline investigated some redacted documents that Alfie found on Olympia's computer, but she also sneakily got the signatures of everyone who had potentially accessed the missing documents so that she could compare them to the signature on a paper signing them out of the document room. She was able to do this by asking Olympia and Julian for their signatures on various forms while making it appear she was doing her due diligence by looking at the original copies of files related to the case she was working on, and secretly photographing Senior's signature after distracting him. The case of the week ended badly, with Senior playing a dirty trick so that the settlement Madeline and Olympia won for their client was worthless. However, Madeline got the beginning of her revenge when she compared all 3 signatures to the one she was looking to identify and discovered that Senior's was a perfect match. Thus, she finally got evidence that Senior had been the last one to handle the missing documents related to the opioid case, which could lead to his downfall if she finds enough other evidence that he was responsible for the cover-up. How learning about Senior's involvement changes Madeline's revenge plan. She now knows who to focus her efforts on. Kathy Bates in the Matlock reboot, Episode 1. In the first few episodes of Matlock, Madeline investigates everybody and tries to find out their involvement while also fighting her natural desire to feel empathetic toward Olympia, which would hurt her investigation. However, this new evidence gives her a specific suspect to focus on, and she can now put all of her efforts toward gaining additional evidence that Senior was responsible for covering up the existence of the documents. This more focused investigation should make it easier for her to expose the document cover-up, although Julian's involvement is still unknown and needs to be investigated. Additionally, Madeline can now make inroads with Olympia without fear that she will compromise her objectivity. Madeline and Olympia share a disdain for Senior after the way he ruined their case, and have already agreed to work together to bring him down. Madeline can continue to build this alliance and use Olympia against Senior, which will allow her to get justice for Olympia's client as well as for Ellie, Madeline's daughter, who died from an opioid overdose. Madeline forming an alliance with Olympia also allows her to get revenge in another way. Once Senior is exposed, it's possible that Madeline and Olympia could continue their alliance by forming their own competing firm with Jacobson and Moore, or getting board members to help them take over this firm and kick out corrupt partners like Senior. Either of these options would allow Madeline and Olympia to ruin Jacobson and Moore's business and Senior's reputation in the community, which would be a more satisfying revenge than merely exposing the corruption Senior is involved in. Is Senior really the culprit in Matlock? The legal drama could be planning another twist. Madeline talking to Alfie in Matlock. The evidence so far suggests that Senior is more than capable of orchestrating a cover-up of documents to help the clients win a case. He was willing to use his connections with the bankruptcy court to ensure that the corporation he represented didn't have the means to pay the settlement it had agreed to. Thus, it is within the realm of possibility that he would have destroyed or hidden documents to ensure that an opioid manufacturer client won a lawsuit filed by victims of opioid misuse. However, the Matlock premiere twist proved that things aren't necessarily how they appear on this show. Madeline's hatred of Senior and growing affinity for Olympia could cause her to overemphasize evidence against Senior while ignoring evidence that Olympia was also involved. Additionally, it's unclear whether Julian was involved in the cover-up. Madeline needs to keep her mind open while searching for evidence against Senior during this next phase of her revenge plan.